2023. 2 o'clock Commissioners' consent agenda. Let the record reflect that all 5 commissioners are present and our executive management team. We are going to take item 2A, we're going to strike item 2A from today's agenda, so we will not be discussing that today. Please note that there were no written testimony that was received by the clerk for today's meeting. And we will then start with our open public forum. And as I open that, I do want to welcome Kelly Brown, who is the president of the Friends of Manitou, is here with Leadership Spokane. She's going through Leadership Spokane right now. And so thank you for attending today in person. Appreciate that. We always like to make sure people understand how it works here at Spokane County, so happy to have you here. So with that, then I will open up our open public forum, and I do have Ian Tanner who would like to testify. So if you'd like to come forward, please state your name and address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
All right. My name is Ian Tanner. I live at 3611 West Longfellow, and we are small but mighty. You would have gotten this flyer from Susie, and I'm here to tell you about our upcoming event, Talking Tiny, with Charles Durrett. We're bringing him back. He's an architect that we're working with, and he's going to talk about community first housing. That's at the library at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 8th. You would have received a copy of this book from us, and Small But Mighty is looking for tiny pieces of land in the city to build tiny communities full of tiny houses that are permanently affordable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that is the only person I had pre-signed up for open public forum. Is there anyone else, second call for anyone wishing to testify? There's a gentleman. And as you're coming forward, if you would please fill out a yellow form when you're done, and then just state your name and address for the record, and then feel free. You've got 3 minutes to discuss anything that's not on today's agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. I came to speak to you today as the president of Local 492. My name is Fred M. Bozanich. I live at 1319 West Teton Court. I'm the president of Local 492, which is nearly 200 corrections officers. We've been reading lately about the exchanges between the commissioners and the county regarding the need for a new jail. I'm here to say that it's past time, long past time. This has been a discussion for 19 years. This jail currently has 631 inmates in it today. It was designed for 463. Today's population is 631, Geiger's 205, and our total incarceration between 2 facilities is 836. Only one need to read the paper, watch the news to see that violent crimes are up. Of the 631 in jail today, 68 require COVID quarantine, waiting period housing, which takes away one whole unit of the jail that used to be for general population. 5 inmates are housed in ad seg that are too disruptive or too dangerous to be in general population. 23 inmates must be housed alone due to their charges that make it unsafe for them in being in general population and or gang related. 35 inmates require single housing for mental health reasons. 6 inmates are currently on suicide watch as of this morning. This fluctuates anywhere from 12 to 16 frequently, especially on weekends. That equates to 137 special needs cells. This greatly reduces the number of general population cells that we can use to house these inmates safely. One only need to see that what our population was when the jail was built in 1986 versus what our population is now in 2022. And the population numbers are almost 28% of an increase. With that kind of a population growth, we all know that crime doesn't go down as we grow, it goes up. We also read in the paper about the shootings and stabbings. I believe that yesterday's paper said there was 29 murders in Spokane last year. It used to be when I started the jail 19 years ago, we could count on one hand the number of murderers we had in the jail. Now I have that in every unit in the jail. These murder trials take anywhere from 2 to 3 years to go through the system. That's just the way it works. We book and release on average 6 inmates a day because we don't have room for them. They're on misdemeanor accounts that need to be resolved. That's another aspect of the system that you're looking at and improving upon, I know. But we continue this rotation of these people that don't go to court, they don't want to go to court, and eventually what happens is the judge gets tired of it, and he books them in or puts the bond so high that they can't get out. Then they'll spend with us and go through multiple hearings, appearances on a misdemeanor theft charge or trespassing. These things need to be addressed in the relatively severity of the crime. But overall, I would ask you, for over the 200 officers and the 100 and some support staff that work at the jail, to quit making us languish over there and working in a dilapidated, unsafe facility that's unsafe for the inmates and the officers, while we look at the newest form of no new incarceration or the MacArthur Foundation idea, which failed miserably. It's not going to work, folks. It's not getting any easy out there. Talk to your cops, talk to your deputies.
Thank you. I appreciate the information and want to thank you for your service to Spokane County. Commissioner French?
Yeah, Fred, I know we've had a lot of conversations about this and stuff, and so I just wanted to say thank you for the service that you and all the other corrections officers provide to this county. You're in a difficult situation, and it has been made more difficult with the passage of time and stuff. So just thank you for hanging in there, and we will try and get this done. Thank you.
Thank you. I am now down to my third and final call for anyone wishing to testify at the open public forum. Anyone online? No. Seeing no one online, seeing no one else in the audience, I will close the open public forum and I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve items 3 and 4, including all sub-items.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for items 3 and 4 and all sub-items on today's agenda. Any further discussion? Commissioner Jordan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make a brief comment on item 3J. This is in the matter of the notice of non-gaming land acquisition application by the Spokane Tribe of Indians. I will be supporting the item as presented, but I just wanted to note for the record, as we discussed when we were briefed on this issue last week, that we, I believe as the county, recognize that the Spokane Tribe is a sovereign entity. I just wanted to put that on the record and understand that it has its own rights and prerogatives as a sovereign. And Special Deputy Prosecutor Amacio, when briefing us, indicated that there will be efforts to collaborate with the tribe to address some of the issues around law enforcement and infrastructure that are noted in our letter to the federal government. Mr. Amacio indicated he's already reached out and had some conversations with the tribe's attorney, so I just wanted to say I look forward to those collaborative efforts continuing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in, okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That will then take us to item number 5 on today's agenda, which is a public hearing to consider establishment of Slayton Road and Tudor Road, County Engineer Road File Number 2542, revising Spokane Traffic Code Number 46.61.2002 to add a stop sign, I believe. Hatch Road and Tudor Road, and revising Spokane County Traffic Code Number 46.61.4155.4 to add a 35 miles per hour zone for Cedar Road, Montgomery Road, Slayton Road, and Tudor Road for the Spokane County Public Works Department. Matt Saracora, County Road Engineer. You'll give a presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooney. Yeah, we're trying something new. We're consolidating a whole bunch of items into one hearing. They're all from the same origin. They're new roads that were created by a development, and this is a little easier than, it's a mouthful to read up front. I appreciate that, Commissioner Cooney, but at least we don't have to have 4 or 5 separate hearings. So anyway, starting off, this is the roads we're talking about. It's north of Deer Park. The 2 new roads are Tudor and Slayton, and they were created by development to service some large lot subdivision work that went on up there. Next slide. So the first thing, well, actually, this is moving on to the next thing. The stop signs, there's 2 new ones we're proposing to add. Just these new intersections, we need some kind of traffic control just so people know who has right-of-way. Next slide. You can see we put one here at the intersection of Slayton and Hatch Road, and another one at Montgomery and Tudor, and that's really where these new roads will be tying into the existing road system. Next slide. And the next one, if we do not establish speed limits in county code, any paved road in the rural area is automatically 45 miles an hour, and in the estimation of our traffic engineer, that was a little too fast. Next slide, please. So what we're proposing to do is for these 2 existing roads, Cedar and Montgomery, we're going to post them at 35. Next slide. And also for the 2 new roads, Tudor and Slayton, those will also be 35 miles an hour. And that was plenty fast for the setting. These are fairly residential. There's driveways approximately every 300 or 400 feet along these roadways, so having a little lower speed limit's appropriate. And I believe that's all the slides. Is that it? Okay. Happy to answer any questions that come up and be here if you have any questions yourselves.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. So with that, then I will open up the public testimony for item number 5A as presented on today's agenda and just presented by our staff. I'm not seeing anyone in the audience, anyone online? Second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 5A. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify. Seeing nobody online or no one in the audience, I will close the the public hearing on 5A and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve public hearing item number 5A as presented by staff.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item number 5A. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That will take us to by leave item number 6 on today's agenda, which I will open this up for public testimony as well. So this is in the matter of authorizing a joint statement letter on regional homelessness efforts. That letter is resolution and letter is attached. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Waldron.
Well, I just wanted to thank all of our partners across the region who've been editing this joint statement for the last 3 weeks. And I think we have a really good statement here that really just states that we're going to do a 90-day due diligence period where community leaders and stakeholders will get together and work to identify how possibly we could create a regional collaborative system around homelessness, and a system that could be built on a shared vision, finances, data, and other resources. So I'm just looking forward to working with our other jurisdictions here in Spokane County, and thankful that we finally figured out the wording that we can move forward.
Commissioner French.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have I echo the comments of Commissioner Waldron, but I've got a question with regard to formatting. On the final page here, it has the City of Spokane, Spokane Valley, Spokane City Council, and Spokane County as 4 entities as opposed to just 3 entities in terms of the 3 governments that are coming together as opposed to, City Council and the mayor. So is there some particular reason for that, or is that just Scribner's editing and privilege, or is there something that I'm it's not a big deal. I support the measure regardless, but I'm just wondering in terms of making sure that the signatories to this thing are proper. I'm really more curious about format than anything else.
Commissioner, I can touch base with Mr. Cooley to find out what the master document will reflect, but I think that that's a product of the fact that the approval process was taking place in two different venues for the administration and the city council of the city of Spokane. So I can clarify what that'll be at the end of the day, but I think that was the reasoning for four entities, is because the approval process was happening on a separate track.
Okay, thank you, Jared. I think Commissioner Kearns has a comment he wants to make about it.
Yeah, I cannot speak to why it was originally put that way, but my understanding is last night when the Spokane City Council adopted this document, the one change they had to the document, the one amendment, was to just change it to City of Spokane. So it no longer has both sort of, I guess you could say, entities from the City of Spokane. It is just, it's stated as City of Spokane now on what they adopted last night.
Is it
Madam Chair?
follow-up?
Oh. Well, I was just going to respond that I think that originally they wanted to show both support from the mayor, who's separately elected, from the council members, but it sounds like they want it to just have City of Spokane as, both the mayor and the council have agreed to the statement.
Commissioner French?
And thank you for the clarity. I appreciate that, Commissioner Kearns. So the next question, and I'm just trying to take care of the paperwork now so that it doesn't come back to bite us, is do we need to also authorize the chair to sign on behalf of the board then? Or is this going to come forward as a document that's going to require all five of us to sign it? I'm really looking more to, if we need to amend this motion so that we authorize the chair, let's take care of that now so that we don't have this hiccup and have to come back to it next week.
The way I drafted the resolution was that it provided for your approval and authority to apply your signatures as the council, all of the council members, to the document.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I'm just trying to take care of the i's and t's.
Very good. Thank you for the clarifications. Commissioner Jordan?
I just want to say for the record, I'm happy to support the resolution. I appreciate all the work that's been done to look at other models in states like Texas and the input from everybody here to improve the statement. Just for folks in the audience, this statement moves us forward to exploring ways that local governments can work together as partners to kind of focus efforts and tackle this challenge of homelessness together. So I look forward to the input of folks from Houston, who I know have had some success with a regional strategy. I appreciate that the resolution calls for public input and expertise from those who have lived experience and providers working on this issue. So the outcome's not predetermined, as we all know. It is an exploration, but I'm excited to move it forward today.
Jared, go ahead.
Yes, Commissioners, kind of piggybacking on some of the questions that Commissioner French had, I did speak to Mr. Cooley this morning. He is going to be facilitating a master copy of this letter, which is currently with the City of Spokane now. He'll deliver that to our chambers to have each of the commissioners sign it individually before the next step, which will be the City of the Valley. So there will be a master document floating around our way in the near future to have all the commissioners sign.
Very good. Thank you.
And just as a follow-up, it allows for a signature outside of an open public meeting as well.
Okay, thank you. So I will just comment as well that, reiterate what everyone's already said. So thank you. And I think it is, having, had the opportunity to go down to Houston myself and see what was happening there, just to have that exploratory time. And there's 3 dedicated people, Gavin Cooley, Rick Romero, and Teresa Sanders, who are volunteering their time to dedicate to these 90 days to really look at what the opportunities are for us to come together regionally. And again, it is just exploratory, which is what this letter states, but, so we'll see what the outcomes are. I think there's a lot of questions that everyone has, and so in that 90 days, we'll be able to get a lot of answers to some of those questions. So I'm looking forward to what the end product will be and the discussions that will follow. So with that, then, I will open it up. Oh. Do I make the motion before I open public testimony? No. Usually I was doing the testimony. Yeah, I'm getting the okay to do that.
We don't normally do our comments before it's okay.
Sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. But I will say, because normally after we get the presentation, then we do any questions or comments, and then I do the open public testimony, and then, okay, the motion. So thank you, keeping me on track. Okay, so with that, then, I'm going to open it up for public testimony on item number 6, by leave item number 6A on today's agenda, which is the resolution in the matter of authorizing a joint statement letter on regional homelessness efforts. Anyone wishing to testify? First call. Second call for anyone wishing to testify. Seeing no one online. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify. Again, seeing no one online or anyone in the audience, I will close the public testimony and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve by leave item resolution number 6 in the matter of authorizing a joint statement letter on regional homelessness efforts.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for item by leave item number 6. Is there any other comments that anyone would like to make? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. That will then take us to, we do have a executive session item, so there is no action that is going to be taken after that, so we will conclude our meeting after that executive session. But Kyle Tuick, if you'd come up and explain the purpose and who you want in and how long. I need to turn it on.
Thank you, Commissioner. This would be regarding pending potential litigation, and it'll include the senior management team as well as Dale Anderson and Matt Koza, and from Public Works staff, Ben Bradabo and Rob Lindsay.
Okay. Thank you very much. And how long do you anticipate it?
30 minutes, please.
30 minutes. Okay. And again, at the end of that 30 minutes, we will be adjourning for the day as we don't anticipate any other action. So thank you all very much. And we will conclude this meeting and go into our executive session. Oh, Jared, sorry. You have your hand up?
Yeah, Commissioners, can I offer a quick miscellaneous item?
Yes.
Ms. Arian Schmidt asked me if I would bring this topic up to the board for consideration, the development of a news release to encourage Spokane County residents to conduct a FCC broadband experience response link, to click on a link to do this experience response. From what I understand, if the responses that our community submits are different from what the FCC has in their mapping tool, the county can issue a challenge to that map, and that could very well have an impact in the amount of some eligible federal funds that our communities could receive for federal funding for broadband. And so she's developed a draft of some content that I could put in that news release. But through our current process, I wanted to present that to the board for your interest before I proceeded in developing a news release. And I do see that Arian's on the line right now. If she wants to amend anything or augment anything that I said, Arian, would you be able to do that?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is something that if you want to carry over to next week, we can. We do have a narrow window for this response. And again, we can prepare a draft for your consideration to give out to our constituents to verify that what the federal government says is served is validated by user experience. Unfortunately, I have another broadband meeting at 2:30 that I need to attend to, but wanted to just give you guys a first awareness of this, and if you'd like us to come back and discuss the draft and further at an upcoming meeting.
So before you leave, Arian, just to make sure, because I know you got the 2:30, if we delay this until next week, is that okay?
I think so. March 15th is the cutoff, and I think that on Monday, if we provide you with
No,
the
then I
draft.
think we probably want to, okay, so then I'm going to ask Dale, we need a motion to do this, of which then I open up public testimony, or since it's just a press release, we can just give head nods?
I would think since it's only a press release and the commissioners aren't taking action, it should be.
Okay. So do I have head nods for the okay for that? Okay, there we go. I would say go ahead. Just send out the draft, just so everyone's aware. But I think it's really great. It's very important for us to be getting that information and validating the information, because we know a lot of the maps that are already in existence are not accurate. And so the more that we can do that, the better. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so then, anything else? Looking. Okay, so we are going to go into executive session. It is 2:28. It'll probably take us a couple of minutes to get everybody out, so I'll say 2:30. We'll be in executive session till 3 o'clock for the purpose that was stated by Kyle Tuig. Thank you all very much, and see you next week.